Hi guys, in this video I'm going to talk to you about 10 ways you could use to go study abroad. Now I lived in 9 different countries. I can tell you, having friends from all over the world, having friends that you could count on, people that you have grown up with in other countries or in your countries that actually go back abroad and then you still keep contact with them is absolutely amazing. And studying abroad is one of the best way to do this. Now let me talk to you about the 10 ways you could use. The first one is go through your university or your school. A lot of schools have partner program with other schools and other universities around the world, and you can use that because it's a good way to do it because they already have relationship with government and other school, and they are already doing that. So for them, it's very easy to just send one more student through their program rather than you doing it independently. However, you could still, number 2, do it independently. You could look for another university abroad, start studying. So you pick a country, let's say Canada, for example, or United States. Now you're going to start looking at different university, different programs. Now, not all the programs are identical, and this is where you have to be very, very careful because the reality of it is some you will have to pay for. It's going to cost you a fortune. You're going to have to live there. You're going to have to feed yourself. Others, they will pay you to come and study. Okay, so this is the other side of the spectrum. If you have a good score at your TOEFL exam or your GMAT exam, you're going to be able to afford yourself help with study. A lot of universities in the United States also like students that have very high score because it helps the overall of the university, right? So, and having alumni from other countries actually help their profile. So you could work for university. Sometimes it's a maximum of 20 hours a week because of the laws in the country. However, if you could work and study at the same time, then you can actually go for free. Now, another solution is through your government. Now, a lot of government will offer to pay your study abroad because they need the knowledge. Now, not necessarily Canada or US, but there are other countries. Vietnam is offering that kind of program. So that way, when you come back, you have all the knowledge that the people locally do not have. And this is a great way to do it. Number 4, don't look to go study at Harvard and McGill University in Montreal or Oxford in England. You don't need to do that. Okay, it depends of your goal. If you say I've studied in the United States when you live, let's say in China, it's good enough. People don't need to know that you work at Harvard in order to hire you. You already learned English very well because you studied there, you have contact there, you've learned an American system or a British system. This is good enough. You don't need to have the highest ranking university. Actually, and you can check in the description below, I have a link to a course that I'm giving for free on Udemy, which teaches how to apply for United Nations, how to get jobs, how to get contract with the United Nations. Well, the UN doesn't care. If the UN look for somebody that have studied in the US and completed a master's degree in the US or Canada or Britain, well, that's perfectly fine. You don't have to have it from Harvard. You can have it from a school in Monroe, Louisiana, and that's still going to be good enough. Number 5, get the company you're currently working for to pay for the course. Now, it depends on how studying abroad is for you. If we're talking about you're in high school right now and you want to go and study in university, that's not going to work. But if you're already at university with a bachelor's degree and you want to get a master's degree or a PhD abroad, then the company you're working for may be more than willing to offer it to you because, again, the value of having somebody that has actually studied abroad brought back to your company is actually very big. The benefit for them is huge. So they might want to pay for your study and pay your salary while you're abroad. This I have seen quite a bit. Number 6, internship. Now, the United Nations do offer internship. They're not paid. However, most of their internship count toward credit for your university with a lot of countries. And also you get to meet a lot of great people. Internship is something that you can definitely do. Some corporations do pay for them. And then you get paid while you're actually accumulating credit and learning something on the job. This is very good. Number 7, exchange program. Now, this one is actually pretty good. A lot of universities around the world do have an exchange program, so you could apply for somebody to come to your country, you go to theirs. If you're an American, you probably very easily go to Europe. The other way around might be a bit more difficult for 2 reasons. First of all, because people don't like to lose their clutch on their cars. No, that's that's a joke a little, but not too much, because a friend of mine actually did an exchange program. The guy didn't know how to drive stick shift, and she left him her car, and when she was in the state, she actually drove his, and well, he didn't know how to drive stick shift and he burned the clutch. Hell, stuff happened. The other issue is sometimes insurance with the United States. So for doctors and stuff like that, internship is a bit of a problem because you as a doctor can easily come to Canada from the US and there's no issues. But because of all the lawsuits and the issues in the US, sometimes they will request for you to have a malpractice insurance that could be extremely costly. So in certain professions, it might be a bit difficult to go to the US because of that, unless you're willing to pay that kind of money. You have to check with the exchange program, see what it entails. Number 8, go with K to 12. Now, I'm not sure if you want to go at kindergarten. My daughter's doing it, but in our case, it's quite different. We pretty much world travelers, so it's easier for her. But the idea is this: if you go, let's say, the last 2-3 years of high school, then the university you want to go to already know which school you've been to. They already know that the program is up to par, and if you graduated from that school, then you can easily jump to that university. If you have a degree from a university in a country they're not familiar with, or a country where, let's say, Nigeria, where sometimes diplomas are somewhat fishy, like you can buy them almost in the street and they don't exactly know, then they could have issues. So that's why, yes, they have the TOEFL exam and they have other means to find out, but the truth is, if you actually complete a few degrees in the country before you get to university, that makes it a lot easier because they know what to expect. Number 9, go for cheap. Now, cheap or free does not mean bad. You could actually come to Canada to study in certain situation where you're going to pay very little, go to Germany, go to Norway, go to Latvia, for example, where school would be free, and you would be able to, even as a foreigner, to be able to go to that school and pay nothing, and still the degree that you're going to get is very good. If you want to get a job internationally, their diplomas are fully recognized, there's no issue. So this is something very good. Now the last one, it's abroad and not yet abroad. Number 10 would be study virtually abroad. Now, of course, you're missing all the advantages of living in another country, meeting people from outside, etc. But the advantage is it's much cheaper. You could attend certain classes from very prestigious university, graduate from them without leaving your country. Maybe you have responsibilities, maybe you have a job, family that prevents you from actually leaving for a year or 2 or 3. Well, then you can do it virtually. You're still going to get a diploma from a university that's outside your country, so abroad, without actually having to leave. And these are becoming more and more popular, especially because of the pandemic. So these are the 10 ways that I know that you can actually study abroad. So anyway, I'm going to continue making that kind of videos because I want you guys to be able to go all over the world and live and prosper. So if you feel that's a good idea, give me the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.